But
All right, welcome to the December SEO 101 course. I'm starting a little early. If anyone has any questions they want to ask, and if they don't, I'll get started with the material because it's going to be kind of a review of everything. We have a lot of new students in the group, and I want to do kind of a review of everything that's going on and all the kind of current state of the experiments and kind of how I would set up a get a page ranking uh, from zero to from position 1,000, position nowhere to spot number one. But if you have any questions you want to ask first, then by all means go ahead. Chica, you had a question.
yeah, I do. I wanted to know when you're building your pages, like when you're building out a site, if it's a local term like near me, are you building that page with the words near me in the like exact match in the title? And are you using variants like around me, close to me in the page, or are you just letting Google handle that?
Yes, you can, but that would be for information ranking. That wouldn't be for the GMB ranking. That wouldn't be for the map ranking.
Yeah, like for the actual actual like first place on that kind of listing.
Well, for first place on the map listing, you wouldn't have near me in the business name.
Yeah.
I mean, if you did, I suppose you would rank higher for it, but that would be kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, you could name that for your business if you wanted to. You could call it, I don't know, carpet cleaning near me, or something, or and then I imagine because it's all keyword based in the entity that would help you rank for near me queries. You should do some keyword research to make sure that those are the queries you really want to rank for before you name your business that.
Gotcha. No, but I'm talking more about like the actual like website, like your website, your web page.
Yeah, it'll help with that as well.
Okay.
It keywords at the end of the day, specificity is going to beat out everything because at the end of the day, Google is stupid and has no idea. It doesn't read like our gibberish pages are just the same as an English page to Google. It's just that they've seen more connections between different kinds of chicken scratches in English than they've seen connections between chicken scratches on our pages. Otherwise, it's all chicken scratches to Google.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much, man. I'm gonna hop off and let someone else hop on if they have any other questions.
Okie dokie.
There.
And that's for you guys. So if you guys have any other questions you want to ask before I get in the material, now is your time. Whatever questions you guys got, I'm watching YouTube. I can see you guys on YouTube. I can see you guys here. I can also see the Hangouts. While I'm at it, there was some questions here in the Skype group I can go through as well. So I don't know if this is a serious question, but Dejan asked, "How do I rank with links without content?" That's pretty easy. Kyle did that in his lorem ipsum, his infamous lorem ipsum test. As long as you can't rank with no content, usually, as long as you have the right content in the right spots. That's where the single variable experiments comes in, is knowing where the spots where Google is tracking rankings for keywords. And it's not just anywhere. We've tested. You can't just put it willy-nilly in the HTML. It's only certain spots they're tracking. And certain words have power. Pretty much the words that have power, the exact match keyword, the variants that you'll see that are bolded in Google that pop or may recommend, the LSA keywords that Core will recommend or topical relevance will recommend, and some sentiment words. The more sentiment words you put in, we just did a field test, the more sentiment words you put in, apparently the better you rank. So we have yet to single variable test that, but that's an interesting field result. And it doesn't hurt for you to throw in, this is the greatest, best, awesomest, best red apples 2018, best red apples. Wow. Great. Awesome deals. We're the best. Come visit us 2018. That might not be a bad title to try. And because it's going to have the CTR you want, it's going to have the exact match keywords you want. It's going to have some sentiment words in there. It's going to get people's attention. It's using the top 5 power psychology words. So that might not be a bad idea. Issy asks, when people mention algorithm changes like Panda and Penguin from the site audit, are these ongoing tests done weekly, monthly? Are the sites that are hit just need to fix the issues and then wait for the next update? Yes. So I don't know if you're listening, Izzy, but I'm answering your question on the Skype here. And the answer is yes. These are running on a regular basis. The quality algorithms are running on a regular basis. And That is, if you fix it, if you fix the problems, the pogo sticking, the bouncing, that's gonna fix on a regular basis. Everything is pretty much on the fly. The only thing that takes a long time is your site quality score. And your site quality score is based on the positive movement that people do when they get to your site. If people go to your site and do nothing, that's not a detriment. But if people go to your site and bounce, that's a demotion. If people go to your site and click the right words and move their mouse in the right patterns that tell Google that it was a positive result and they stop searching, that's a promotion, and it'll happen in 3 to 4 weeks in our testing. We've tested that multiple times now. Ernie asks, in the internal link test that boosted, can you specify what anchor text that was that boosted? It was EMQ, and it was above 80 words. So above 80 words, you can link to yourself internally, and you get a boost with EMQ, or you can link to another page, and you'll get a boost. But really, you don't want to do that, and I'm going to tell you why in this course. I'll tell you why in a little bit. This doesn't mean just because now we found that internal links are giving some juice, doesn't mean that silos are a good idea. I'll tell you why later in the course. Dejan asks, niche-related backlink in a different language, does it give juice? Yes, it does. Maeve also has a question, and I saw you here, so I'll answer it here. You said you're setting up a niche site and you want to be totally separate from the main site, but it sells the same products. What is the best way to set it up so it doesn't affect rankings on my core site? Yeah, you're going to need to have a different business name, a different address, different phone number, different accounts if you sell all the same product. If you really want to make sure that Google doesn't see you as the same, you're going to totally have to separate stuff out. Issy asks, what's the correlation between a page's age and steady keyword rank versus new pages where keyword dances? The difference there is that the new page and the new site do not have a quality score. So it's just like the site audit I did this morning. I recorded, I put in the SEO quickies for you. A new site doesn't have a quality score yet, or a positive quality score yet. So it's going to bounce all over the place. So that's why it bounces when you do that. But you'll know that your on-page worked, that if you fill out the on-page and you get a boost and then it goes down all of a sudden, where you, the highest, as soon as you did the fetch, after you did your Core, Pop, and SVE, and you went up, that's where Google thinks you should be in terms of how well you got your on-page working. So if you're on page 1, good. I had one go from 300 to number 2. And so that told me, okay, we did the on-page right. Now we just need to work on other stuff. Paulu says, instead of linking from one homepage to another, why not use the rel canonical tag? Harvest the link juice and your competitors don't see what you're doing. Well, they'll see it if they check in the HTML. But yeah, you could do that. You can do a rel canonical in the HTML from page to page. The problem is that the less duplicate they are, the less chance the rel canonical is going to stick. And you could do a heading level, a HTTP level, domain level canonical. I believe that such a thing exists. Although I haven't seen it for a long time. And that has a slightly better chance of working in that case. You can just do a link, or you can do a 301. Let me see if there's any more questions on there. Any more questions in here, guys? Jesper asks, I have 16 logos in my homepage that are my main web design references. Is it a good idea to link out to them from the homepage? I have no idea what you mean. You have 16 logos in your homepage. Jesper, do you have a microphone there? How's your English? Can't hear you. Afraid not. You're not muted, but your mic's not working. You could have a hardware mute on your mic turned on right now. That's fine. Go ahead, type in the chat. Explain a little bit more what you mean there. I don't know what you're linking out to from the homepage. Go ahead, explain it. It's fine. Go ahead, explain it a bit more. I will also check YouTube here. Hey, YouTube. People who are watching here. Dejan, you say, for how long new site bounces? So that's a very good question. So it's however long it takes you to get traffic to your site. This is where Facebook comes in. As soon as you put out a new site, you should have some paid traffic going to it, either from AdWords, if you want. That'll probably convert a bit better, but it'll be much more expensive. Or from Facebook, which will be much cheaper. And if you do it right, it'll convert just fine, or it'll at least do happy signals on your site just fine. And then the bouncing will stop. And Jordan just said this morning, actually. The bouncing will stop faster if you push more happy traffic to it sooner, because that happy traffic gives it a quality score. The reason why it's bouncing is because you don't have a quality score yet. But the traffic cannot bounce back to Facebook, or cannot bounce back to Google, or cannot pogo stick around the site too much. And even better, worse if they don't do this, better if they do, that traffic you're sending from Facebook has to enjoy the page. I don't mean they have to like it in the Facebook sense. I mean they have to move their mouse around and highlight sentences and click words that are important to them. So that's what you want to do there. Tulisa Smith asks, is having many related posts after content and also in the sidebar good practice? No, it is not. It is terrible. Yes, it will dilute the specificity. So that's not one of our testing does not favor those kinds of strategies that a lot of the SEO industry does. Let me turn over to my handy dandy board here. So when you're making a website, you want basically just to link. This is the index page, down to category pages, down to products. Everything here is a ranking page at the end of the day. You do not want to have side link offs to info pages. They are not going to help you. They're going to confuse Google's ranking algorithms. This is not how you're going to, it's going to diffuse your word count. And these link backs, even if they're above 80 words, you're like, oh, well, that's going to help, right? Well, no, because it's still going to just open up my keyword family, because you're going to have all kind of weird words on here that's going to open up your keyword families. You're going to say every little word counts. Every little word counts. And in it, the is, because all those little conjoining words are going to count, right? So you don't want to do all this. You don't need this content. It's not going to help you. It's wasting your time. You want a slim, and you want laser with a Z focus. I know I misspelled it. Laser focus is what you want. And that's kind of what I'm going to go over today, because this is what I'm combating with the new students. I can tell you guys have been studying your SEO in general. Great, good for you. That's good. But the problem is that you've learned a lot of bad habits from bad teachers. And so this is why I want to kind of go over the whole general thing again with all the new experiments. Today you're going to get the state of the art, the cutting edge state of the art of what our experiments are telling us for what you should be doing. So you want slim laser focus. You do not want supplementary index pages. Now, if I go over, for example, if I go over this here, this is a thing I go off over on a regular basis. This is how Google sees your site. So you are essentially you're a giant word cloud of every page linking to your page. They take the sum semantic of every word of every page linking to your page internally or externally. And so you are the aggregate semantic of all the entities, the pages. But keep in mind, this also includes entities like your Google Posts, your Google My Business. All that's included, right? Especially for Google My Business, it's more of the entities than it is the pages. But you are an aggregate semantic for local or global of all the entities or the pages linking or canonically or even mentioning you, because those are making soft to hard links in Google's mind of everything they should build for your word cloud. From the closest to source, which is the very page you're on, the on page, to the furthest. And it's possible that you can do this without going over threshold. I'm not even sure if there's a threshold anymore. We've been testing, and there used to be a threshold. The threshold for main content used to be like ×9 for special titles. I don't know if you can read my writing, or headers. Is like ×2 max. So unless you're ×9 over the keywords, you really don't have to worry about it. Special titles and headers, like the title tag, the headers, the special places, I wouldn't be any more than ×2, unless they are. You have to meet or be +1 over, really is what you want to do. If they have like 3 keywords in their title, well, then you have to have 3 keywords in your title. And if they're ranking number 1 to 3, then you can say it's pretty safe. And the pop testing that Kyle's done shows you'd want to meet or be +1 over that. So, so this is how Google sees your site here. So this is what happens. The more, this is your keyword, your ranking families, your clusters. And the more you double up on this, the higher you're going to rank for the main ones, and the better you're going to rank for the long tail, because they're going to be more related. Now, let's say you have some pages that talk about design or users or applications linking into your cluster. That is not going to help you. That's going to put the wrong semantic in your ranking cluster, and it's taking away from your main cluster. Therefore, you're going to lose long tail and maybe even head term power when you do that. And so you want more pages saying and more instances of these words. It really is, at the end of the day, the most words count, unless you go over some kind of threshold, which we're not even sure there's a threshold anymore. And this is satisfied. This is confirmed by satisfied traffic. So you might be wondering, well, how can Google run on such a simple kind of 2001 kind of specificity, like aggregate specificity? Whoever says the keyword more wins. Like that sounds like 2001 SEO. How could Google be doing this? It's because they have an advanced spy system to watch where every person clicks. And so they don't have to worry about it anymore. They don't have to worry about faking out us SEOs. They just kept it completely silent, so we don't know, denied every time, confused the hell out of everybody, and it's working. If you look at the rest of the industry, they have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea that this is true. And they're all off in the reeds thinking about different stuff because they don't use scientific tactics. So Google is winning, but they don't have to. They can make it super easy to rank and just put the person with the most keywords essentially wins in the right spots. The most keywords in the right spots essentially wins. They turn the dial on what those spots are every now and then. And they're going to keep changing that month after month, so we have to keep on top of it. But they can confirm that that's the best page to rank for cricket, movie, and music, because the traffic will tell them. They'll either bounce from the site, and that will be a demoting factor. A certain percentage of all the traffic will bounce from that site. Sorry, they'll bounce from the page, and that'll be a demoting factor for the page. A certain percentage of all the traffic that goes to this site will bounce from the site, and that'll be a demoting factor for the site. Or a certain amount of traffic will like the page, that'll be a promotion for the page. Or a certain amount of traffic will like the site, and that'll be a promotion for the site as a whole. Actually, I should go back here. I should just share it. I should just share this whole thing. Okay, what other kind of questions we got here? Dejan says, so not too much new site changing content and stuff? I don't know what you mean. Say, ask it again. I don't know what you guys are talking about there. Go ahead, ask it again. Let me see what kind of questions we have in here. So Jesper, you asked, they're all your major companies. So your question is it a good idea to link out to their websites? Oh, so these are websites you designed. I see, and you want to link out to websites you designed. Yeah, you could do that. I wouldn't do it in the footer. I would, in the main content, I would be bold. And I would say, yeah, these are websites I designed. Here's one, it's about this. Here's another, it's about that. And that'd be perfectly fine. But then you're sending your link juice away from the site you're linking out of. Right? So you're getting link juice into that site. And there's some theories of SEO are that you would lose that link juice if you sent it away on the index page. Most sites you want to keep the link juice on the site. So if you care about that site that's ranking, then no, you don't want to link out. If you don't, if it's like a PBN, then yes, that's the whole purpose, link out. Yeah, you say you're worried about losing link juice. Yeah, then I wouldn't do it because that could lose the link juice off that site. And technically, you're not supposed to link to your own sites, and so Google could get pissed off. Okay, what other questions you got here, guys? What other questions we got going on? Anything here I can answer? I don't know if that guy knows we're running a course right now, so I won't answer his question because he'll miss it. If nobody else has any questions, then I'll... Oh, who has questions? Okay, if nobody...
Josh, I got something.
Yeah, okay, go.
So there's something in YouTube with Dijon and I were talking about having a content plan when you're creating a new site, and making sure that you're not doing too many changes. That's what his question was.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, you're right. I mean, you don't. I see bad effects in the field when you go and you change a page like 3 or 4 or 5 times. Suddenly, Google will demote you. I think they think you're making like SEO changes, and Google will demote you. So when you're trying to do Core Pop SVE to a page to a single to do on page to boost it, you want to do all your analysis of all the changes you want to make. You want to make one change. You want to fetch it, and you want to watch the boost you get in 24 hours, and that's it. You don't want to make a bunch of spot changes after. If you have to, then you have to. But that's not the way you want to do it. Ideally, you want to make all your on-page changes based on Pop, Cora, and SVE, based on the last course I did. Take a look at it. I'm not going to rehash that whole thing. You want to do that, and then you want to make one set of change. Oh, we have one big list. You make one set of changes to that page. You fetch it, and in 24 hours, you will see a boost. If you do not see a boost in 24 hours, then your site definitely has a quality score problem. The faster you see a change when you make an on-page change, the less of a quality problem you have on the site in general. It is possible that you won't see a boost on your site for some time, but that's not what we see in testing. So it's like if you've got some kind of demotion or you have some kind of problem on that site, that's another way to diagnose whether that's the case. Because if you make an on-page change, you should see the change happen in 24 hours. And that's not the same as the bouncing. If it goes up in 24 hours and then bounces, that's fine. You don't have a quality score yet. You don't have a positive quality score. If you make a bunch of on-page changes and you don't see anything in 24 hours, then either you didn't do it right or your on-page was already perfect, or, well, basically that means you didn't do it right. You didn't do it right because you would see a drop if you ruined your on-page. Or you have quality score demotions. You have some kind of Pando penalty. You have some kind of quality algorithm penalty. And there's plenty of quality algorithms they have running since Medic that are just demoting algorithms. And so if that happens, you just need to do the whole thing. It doesn't really change what you do. Our process is always this process. It's always do a full audit, then you make a work list, you do the fixes, and then you check, and then you repeat. That is always our process. That never changes. There are specific times when there's specific things you can play with, like oops, you made a bad link, you made a cloaked link to yourself, and now you need to get rid of that. Okay, fine. Or oops, you had a technical problem and you need to fix that. Okay, but that's like 1% of the time. 99% of the time, this is our SEO diagnosis process, and we don't deviate from it, because if we do, we will shoot ourselves in the foot. The process is what saves us from being biased or from making from the hip guesses and basically messing things up. Okay, Maeve has a question here for my new site. Am I best to get all content done perfectly via Pop and Cora before launch? No, you can launch it and you can adjust them afterwards. But like I just said, I would adjust them once and once only. Okay, what other questions we got here, guys? Let's see, is any more questions here on YouTube? Looks like there is a bunch of them here. Chica, what's your question about LSI keywords? You said you had a question. You said, what is the tool that spit them out? That's topicalrelevance.com, that a guy who was in White Hat versus Black Hat made for us. Or you can get them out of any Quora report. Check the tabs down on the bottom of your Quora report, and it's like it's on the right hand side. It's about 6 to 10 tabs in, but there's an LSI keywords tab, and then you just make a floating. I showed this in the last course. You make a pivot table out of it. You filter it to the top of the most instances, and you just get rid of the words and the and is and all those, and those are your LSI keywords there too. Henry asks, when you were talking about affiliate sites, you said that smaller site, more PR. What exactly do you mean with that? Exactly what I said, smaller site. So we do laser focused sites, right? So this index page, if this was an affiliate site, I probably wouldn't need categories. An affiliate site would be like this. This is like best red apples, and then it links down to the best red apples on it. And this is my affiliate, top 10 best red apples, top 10 green apples, top 10 blue apples. And they don't link back and forth to each other. They link down and up, and that's it. That's how you save the PR. And then if I want to link them, I get external links that point directly to each page, the money page. I do not link to the index page and link down, because then I'm going to lose link juice. So that's what I mean, is that all of our sites are slim, laser-focused site on the topic you want to make it on. It could be a partial match domain. That would probably be the best way to go, partial match domain. You could try an EMD. That would have a boost, but it's risky. You might want to see if they already have an exact match domain on there, and you want to see if you want to take their spot. Because then Google will allow, if you can take their spot, if there's already an exact match domain on there, Google will allow it and you can take their spot. But newsflash, then you got to get dirty, you got to roll your sleeves up, you got to knock some guy out and get rid of his revenue and take money out of his mouth, and you got to take his spot. But it's, SEO is a competition. It's you versus somebody else. As long as you play honorable, as long as you play fair, there's probably nothing unethical about it. If you start doing negative SEO, well, I guess a little greasy, but you got to do what you got to do. Kevin asks, is there a fetch tool, or will there be, in the new Search Console? Yes, there is. There is one in there. It's just confusing how to use it. And he says the old version is being phased out soon. That's what it says on the. That's what it says on it. I just did that audit course this morning. It's in the SEO Quickies folder, and that's what it says there. So. Will they actually phase it out? I don't know. Will they pull over some of the functionality that they currently don't got there? I don't know. Talisa asks, for navigation links, is it better to link to category pages or directly to the 7 or 8 most important pages on the site? The site has roughly 200 pages. Okay, for a scenario like that, then what we're doing here, we would still link externally to ranking pages. That wouldn't change. Come on, erase, pen, erase. So the main navigation would link to the categories. These are category pages, and these link out to product pages, or they could be review style pages as well. Fine. But the home page is going to link directly to the product page if you have tons of link juice coming in. If you have a lot of link juice coming in to the external link juice to the main page, then you would link externally in a main content link. If you don't, then there's no need to. I hope that makes sense. So if there's a lot of page rank coming to the index page, for some reason you've done it wrong, that'd be the wrong way of doing it. As I said, the external link juice or the page rank should be going to your money pages. I don't even care if the index page has any links. I don't care at all. That's not required in any of the testing I've done. You could do some press releases if you want, just to get some links so it doesn't look weird. And you could do NAP, and then you could do your Google My Business as well, whether you're doing local or not. to get that entity fleshed out. And then that would get a bunch of links to the index page, because you usually can't link to subpages in a press release anyway. And you could probably get that for free or cheap. Ask Calvin in our group. His sole purpose in our group is to give you guys press releases. If you like his press releases, he gets to stay. If you don't like his press releases, then I'm going to kick him out because I'm a jerk like that. But that's why he's here.
Which company is he from?
I'm not sure what company he's from. I think his name is Calvin. I don't even know his name. I don't even know what's going on. I'm so busy with Christmas, I have no idea. I think his name is Calvin. So talk to him in the group.
Okay.
And you can get press releases from the guy. But my point is that, so you would link from the index page here down to the product page in the main content. And when I say that, I mean, like, so here's your page, here's the top header, here's your main content. You would link to your categories here, obviously, and that would go to these ones here. But in the main content is where you'd link down to a product page to save the link juice that this page has. If this page does not have any link juice, then there is no need to do that. It doesn't make any sense. Again, and I don't care what the site structure is, we would not be linking in between from here to here or here to here. That's not something we would be doing. We're linking down and up. That's it. That's going to keep your ranking clusters very tight. That's going to keep your rankings as high as possible. That's not going to dilute your ranking clusters. It's not going to dilute your ranking power. Okay, any other questions here, guys, before I get into the course? I've already kind of started getting into the course.
Question for you. Would you one of the jobs I'm looking at doing, where I'm trying to time it so that the sites kind of go live, they take the position because it's a short season. But is there any way to kind of gauge how long it would be to like things to rank? I know we once talked about it was the PA times. I have the algorithm written down, but is there like a time that you would say how far back you should start planning that?
You should start planning it now. You should start planning it as soon as possible.
And then the actual launching of it. So once it's all done and built and you launch it, you think that's where I'm getting kind of worried because I don't want to miss the season because it's only 2 months.
You need all the time you can get, so you should start now.
Okay.
Guys, there's no way to guess how long it's going to take. Okay. My algorithm I showed you guys was take the trust flow and plus the PA, times it by 10, divide it by 2, and that equals the approx months. That was it. So if they have 30 PA and 30 TF, then that's gonna, no, if it's gonna be 30 PA and 30 TF, then it's gonna take about 3 to 6 months. So you divide by 10. So you take the average of that. So let me write it this way. This will make more sense. Average trust flow and page authority through SERPworks, and then divide by 10, and that'll be the approximate months. And then I would double it times 2. So that's approximately what I would say. But guys, it's just my rough guess. This is like a bucket, barely a bucket 2 guess. This is edging into the shit bucket kind of a guess. So don't take this as gospel. This is not. That's just a general idea of how long it'll take because the client wants an idea. So he's like, yeah, client, here's some bullshit out of my ass. Here, blah. It's an answer you give a client. What's reality there? It totally depends on so many factors that are so hard to gauge. Yeah. How fast do your workers work? How fast do you work? How tough is it really? Is there negative SEO in the space? Is it a space that has a lot of black hat activity in it? Is it a space that Google is policing a lot? So many questions that would affect how long this would actually take. So my answer for you is do it now.
On it.
Get to the chopper.
Cool.
And don't take that as gospel and stop looking for gospel answers. No one has a gospel answer in SEO. Stop looking for them. I know SEO is scary and everyone wants a reassuring, don't worry, Santa Claus is a real answer to make you feel good. But sorry, Santa Claus ain't real. I hate to break it to you. And there's no gospel answers in SEO. There's just shades of gray. And luckily we have the least shade of gray because we're doing single variable tests. Sometimes I can get a page ranking in a week, or sometimes it'll take a year. So it really depends on exactly what you're doing. Okay, what other questions we got here? Maeve asks, so on my niche sites I have launched before, but do affect core site ranks, but didn't compete with each other on products. How should I split them away from core site now, or just leave them? They don't rank well now. Yeah, well, you got to you have to delete those sites and redo them, right? So if you're making duplicate sites, then that's a problem. That's a tricky black hat thing to do. And you're going to have to make it look like it's a different company and sell them in a different way. You might want to start an affiliate program. That might be easier. Have affiliates selling them for you, so they'll separate all the sites and they'll register all the domain names, and then you just give them a commission. That might be a better way of doing it. But if you want to, you can mess around with it. You can make your own site, and then but it has to be on a different everything, different hosting, different name, different company, different phone number, different address. And then Google might think of ranking that site, even though the products are exactly the same. It's going to be tough to do. Any other questions? Okie dokie. Well, then I guess I'll get started with the course material that I was going to do. And today's kind of a review course. So if you have a question, go ahead and ask. But I mean, I'm pretty much already started with what I want to do in the course anyway, because today's going to be a review course. So people are kind of asking, how would you start out? Again, you want to start out with the keyword research. So I'm going to go over a review of kind of everything I would do, kind of at a really high kind of explanatory level. And then this will kind of reinforce, I think, all the other course material and go into the other courses to get kind of more in depth. But if you have a question and you want me to go a little deeper on something, go ahead, ask. This is the general on-page rule right here. So again, we want slim, laser-focused sites. And a partial match domain or exact match domain still have the most juice. If we're not going to do that, then what we should do is you should have linking wise, they should link as quickly as possible. You shouldn't link to a category page just so you can link to a product page. If you don't need category pages, then don't have them. But if people expect category pages, then have them. But you really got to decide. I'd look at your competitors. Look at page 1 and see what your competitors are doing. And see what kind of pages Google likes to rank for that query. That should give you a good idea as to how you should structure your site, what your pages should look like. And don't just go with the top one. Look at all 10 and then see kind of all what they're doing. And that'll give you an idea of, okay, Google likes to rank this for this kind of query right now. You might be surprised. So after you look at page 1 and you see what the competitors are doing, you would link straight to the page that you want to have. So let's say we want to have a category and products. But this is what we would do. We would do whatever, blah, 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 blah.com/keyword/keyword. This does give a boost. You do want to double up your keywords here and here. As long as this is not an EMD. This would be first best to do. This would be second best to do, but risky. This would be third best to do on a branded site. That's how you want to do it. You want to have 2 keywords in the URL string. And I wouldn't go any higher than that. Max 2 keywords in URL string right now, just like max 2 keywords in any special title or header right now. is what I would do. Again, unless your competitors are doing more. But I would never go over the 2 keywords in the URL string anyway. Now, I'm just trying to give you a sense of how I would build something from scratch. So you get an idea of what all the ranking factors are now. If you already have a site and you're not doing this, I would not necessarily recommend making these changes. I would not buy a new domain name and then switch everything over, because you could lose your rankings until they destroy things, unless you don't have any rankings. If you don't have any rankings, then go ahead, change everything around, do everything, change it all around. Or you're not satisfied with where you're ranking, or you really want to push it up, even if you're on page 1, you want to push it up higher, and you don't care if you take any drops right now, then yeah, go ahead and make these changes. This change should be pretty easy, and you should be able to do, it's pretty safe to do. I'd say it's about 90% safe. Registering a new domain name is like 10% safe. You will definitely lose your rankings right now if you try and change your URL. So if you don't have any rankings, well, that's fine. You can do it. This is more safe to do, the double keyword. And that's how it's working right now. Now, keep in mind, we're on the bleeding edge. So if Google decides to change this and starts to penalize this, well, then you're certainly going to get a hit. And you got to wait for our testing to catch up with what Google's changed, which can take a couple of months. So it's up to you if you want to go that extreme. But that's the risk you have to take, right? That's what you got to decide to do. Keep knocking out my stupid earbud here. Here we go. Okay. So, and I would keep a laser focused site. Remember, you want to have the main content no more than times 9 the keywords. You could be anywhere from times 2 to times 5 safely. Should you go to times 2 to times 5? No, you should just be meet or be slightly over. So I'll say slightly over here. Meet or slightly over. You don't have to go times 2 or times 5. You don't have to go crazy when you're doing your pages. If you really want to take advantage, you could have a breadcrumb and a reciprocal link to yourself. So on the page, you're linking to yourself above. Oops. Above 80 characters. And so that's how I would do my silo. My silo is 1 page linking to itself. And that will get the boost that we found in single variable testing. Why? Can anyone tell me why I want to do it that way? Because I do not want to dilute my ranking families. And it would be a laser focused site. So I would probably pick a PMD. So let me just make sure everyone understands what a PMD is. So let's say I want to rank for best red apples. Best red apples is what I want to rank for. The EMD would be bestredapples.com. I could do top red apples. That's partial match. I could do that and get a sentiment single on there too. Or I could do red apples best. That's a PMD. Or I could do wow apples. That's a partial match domain because it has part of the keyword in it, and it's got a sentiment word, which would be good as well. So any of those variations would probably be sufficient and less risky than just doing bestredapples.com. I mean, it's up to you. If this, if you can risk it, then go with the EMD. And if it looks like they've already ranked EMDs, go with the EMD. But if you can't risk it, if this is like the one site you need to rank and to make the money, or you're gonna quit as an SEO, well then I would go with a PMD because it'll be a little bit safer. And keep in mind, at any point, Google can decide to start demoting EMDs because they're ranking too much. Although I strongly doubt they will do that. If I thought they would do that, I would never recommend it. But I need you guys to understand the shades of gray. I need you guys to understand the comparative judgment calls you need to make between risk reward in all the different factors. There's like 100 risk reward decisions you need to make based on the single variable tests of you having the more facty kind of knowledge as to what's a ranking factor or not, mitigated against what you can afford in terms of money, what you can afford in terms of risk, what Google is probably going to do in the future, what your competitors might see you doing and copy you. And I can't tell you what to do. I mean, I can tell you what to do a little bit in certain situations and cases, but this is a teach you how to fish group and not a fish for you group. And I'm sorry, it has to be that way. I need you to understand what I know and to learn how to fight like I fight, or to learn how to judge SEO like I judge SEO. I apologize. You guys know I'm into martial arts, and so you kind of roll the eyes that I keep using martial arts metaphors, and I apologize. But it's very similar to that. I mean, it's like you come into my dojo, I make you do 100 push-ups, you hate me for it, but then you're punching really good. You know, that kind of a deal. I can't go and you can't just call me up like Batman when you're in the bar getting into a fight, and I can jump in and do the fight for you. You need to know how to do this yourself, right? So that's, I know it's so seductive, and I know it's so arduous, and I know it's so seductive. I know it's so arduous to learn SEO the right way, like a scientist, to try and make these 100 different judgment calls on a given day. And I know how stressful that is, trust me, because I'm making that for myself and for all of you at the same time. But I also know for a fact that that's the way SEO is. And so anybody who just gives you just kind of just general rules of thumb to make you feel good is not actually helping you do any SEO. They're actually hurting you because they're not telling you how it really works, right? That's like going to the Mick Dojo where they're like, yes, this secret move, we can shoot fireballs. Didn't you see the fireball? I didn't see any goddamn fireballs. And all the students are like, yes, sensei, we saw fireballs. That's not the kind of martial arts school you want to go to. In the exact same way, that's not the kind of SEO school you want to go to either, where they're like, oh yeah, just make your keyword density 2 times 2 and then you're good. That has no scientific basis for them to say that, and they didn't give you the pros and cons or the ifs or the little bits of discrimination you need to use of the facts of how it works so you can make your best decision as to what you're doing. The more the SEO teacher tries to dumb it down for you, the more the SEO teacher tries to make it you feel safe and comfortable, the less SEO you're actually doing and the more dangerous it actually is. Does that make sense, guys? Guys listening or on YouTube, when I said that, does that make sense? Are you all on board for that? Because that's what we're doing here.
Totally understand.
Good. Okay. At least Ryan understands. Okay. Fantastic.
I love the karate metaphors. I trained for a while too, so they're fantastic.
Okay. Well, I mean, I hate, and for those of you who are not into sports or not into martial arts, I could pick a different metaphor if I could think of one, but it's so analogous to martial arts for me, and so I hope that makes sense. That I'm trying to teach you guys how to know what I know, how to do SEO the way I know how to do it. You know, I'm not there to do the SEO, make the SEO call. I could use medicine as a thing. I'm trying to teach you to be surgeons so you can do surgeries yourself. I'm not going to be available. You can't call me to come jump into your surgery. I mean, you can. It's a bad metaphor. You can, but just pretend. It's like the fight metaphor. I can't jump in and fight those guys at the bar like a ninja, like Daredevil out of nowhere, and then run off into the night. I'm not going to be there. So you guys got to be able to understand it on your own, and that's what the purpose of this group is. So I get it. It's stressful, and it's like, oh damn it, can't you just make it easy, Josh? Can't there just be a Santa Claus? I'm sorry, there is no Santa Claus. Other than me, I'm Santa Claus, but I'm giving you the principles you need to learn by, and how to make the decisions yourself. But you guys got to make about 100 different ranking decisions over the course of ranking a site based on sketchy knowledge. Some of it's slightly better because we did single variable testing at some point. And that's the way it is. And I know a lot of people just look for kind of guidelines because they're scared and because it's scary. But that's really where it comes from in the SEO industry. And then because charlatans can make money just feeding your fears and selling you your goop or whatever it is, right? Okay, so that's why I would probably go for these partial match domains here. You could go with an exact match domain if you're not so averse to risk, but if you're more averse to risk, a partial match domain is probably safer, even though an exact match domain in testing is always a better signal. Okay, so I'm going to erase a lot of this here. Actually, I'm going to erase all of it. So take a screenshot if you want this.
Could you make it a little bigger before I do a screenshot?
I think so. That's as big as it gets. Jordan, yes, I am. Yes, I am Batman. Okay. All right. So, like I said, so that's how you would choose your partial match domain based on the keyword. You want a slim site because your word cloud has to be extra reinforced. You want to do your keyword research ahead of time to see what are the best keywords to rank for anyway. When you look at Google's search result, you're going to find all the variants. You're going to use topical relevance, and you're going to use LSI keywords in Quora to find out all the extra. Maeve says, Santa isn't real. I'm crushed. I'm sorry, Maeve. He's not real. But the good news is that everyone can be a Santa and be nice to everybody at Christmas, and that's the good news. You want to check the bolded words in Google to find your variants. You want to use topical relevance to find your topically relevant words. You want to find your or the LSI keywords in Quora. You want to stuff in as many sentiment words as possible. They can be like top, good, best, awesome,
Most.
You could try it. Most, wonderful. Literally just crank out the thesaurus and just start getting them there. So get all your sentiment words. Get all your sentiment words and go ahead, stuff them in all over the place. To be super positive, you can use the sentiment words. Sorry for those of you who can't read my writing. You can use the start 990 trick that I showed you in the last class to try and to find out what Google thinks the hottest sentiment words are. If you just use a lot of them, you'll probably, get over them, but you won't get the boost unless you use the one that Google thinks. So it's the ampersand start 990, and that goes at the end of the URL string at the end of the search bar. And then you click to the end and see how many, count the pages. And you keep changing that for every sentiment word. If you don't understand that, watch the last course. So this is going to give you a good plan. Then you run Quora, you run pop on the pages that are already there. You get all your variances of what you want to do. You decide, if you already have an existing page, you decide how much of that you want to do to ruin your current rankings. If you don't have any current rankings, go ahead and ruin them. If you do have current rankings and it's your shopping season, then don't make any changes right now at all. If you can live with what you have right now, don't touch it. Don't change anything, except for speed and CRO. You could always improve without any risk of danger. You can always improve speed, and you can always make changes that you're sure are going to improve CRO. You can always do that. And then after Christmas, then you can start playing with your URL strings. If you're on the south end of page one, where you're not getting a lot of traffic, then you can play with your keywords. But keep in mind, if you mess it up, you're going to lose your page one traffic for that query. So if right now is your sales period, I would not do it. I would not bother doing it. So then after that, what do you do? Okay, well, first off, we need some good traffic, right? So these are the ranking factors here. The ranking factors are 1 on page is still the biggest. And by that, I mean also on site. I mean the URL string as well. So the URL string and on page, that's the biggest ranking factor there. 2 then we have is going to be CRO. That's going to be traffic. So now we need to get traffic to your site. So Facebook is a good cheap source. AdWords is another source. It's more expensive. They have to be happy. So if you have not done the CRO so that the traffic likes what they find when they get there, then that's going to be a no-no. You don't want to do that because you're just wasting your money and you could derank yourself. So your CRO has to be pretty good. Let me show you what a landing page should look like to get maximum CRO. To get maximum CRO, the landing page should look something like this. This is Melissa's drawing. So you have the photo of the product, the service, or the dream on the left-hand side. Underneath, you have all your seals of your BBB seals, your money-back guarantee, all your seals of certificate of satisfaction, whatever it is. On the right side, it says, get this now, whatever it is, blah, 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 blah. You have your 3 to 5 best sales value propositions. You say it's only, you cross out the price, you say it's only this, and then you have the call to action or the PayPal button. And underneath, you say limited time, only X number of spots left. Make sure you use the top 5 power words, you, new, now, free, best, or any close synonym, because social psychology has proven that more people will click if you do that. So let me see here, actually. What is it? Oh, you guys are not looking at it. Hold on. Do you guys see this now? You guys see the landing page now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry.
Just brought it up.
Yeah, so you want the photo on the left of the either the product or the service, or you're selling the dream. This has to be all above the fold. You have your 3 to 5 best reasons why they should buy it. Then you have the price. You're using the top 5 power words, psychology power words, all throughout here. You can get it now. You could buy it now. New, buy it today. Get this free shipping. You know, whatever it is, gets to you in two days. Every reason why they should buy it. You have to remove the fear and increase the positivity. This is the second. This is the next big ranking factor you need to deal with. I think this is anywhere from 30 to 50% of the rankings, quite frankly. Underneath, you would have testimonials, a video, and another call to action PayPal button or whatever it is at the bottom of that. So that's a kind of a template as to what one page could look like. Should every page look like that? No, but every page needs to kind of follow the same kind of paradigm. If you're doing a top 10 best red apples page, like a top 10 best miter saws, then there'd be 10 sections on the page that would look exactly like this, and it'd be repeated 10 times. And of course, the one that gives you the best affiliate commission is the one you put up on top, and that's the one that has the most stars and has the best accreditations, because that's the one you want them buying. And this is when you say, this is really the one you want. And they go, oh, great, this guy was so nice to write this article for free to tell me what the best miter saws are. What a nice fellow. Everything on the internet is free and nothing is fake, and no one's trying to sell me anything. So sorry, just a little bit of internet marketing humor there. So this is what it would look like on your 10 best miter saw page. This whole section here would be kind of repeated 10 times down throughout the page. But that's generally what a landing page should look like. The more you deviate from this, the worse it's going to be. I mean, yes, you can deviate from it. And the human psychology is complex as to what they'll see and what they'll tolerate and what they'll do. But in general, social science has proven this is the most converting way of doing it for left or right readers. If we were talking about Arabic readers or Jewish readers, that'd be different because it'd be right to left readers. We're talking about English or Latin, the Latin variant languages, and German. reading from top left to bottom right. Now, I used to have one here. Back to this. So this is kind of one that we're working on now. It's not very good, but this is the general idea. And I just use a template like this. The client hasn't come back yet. They need more sales value propositions. This would not be good enough. But this is the general idea. You'd have your money back guarantee. You have your picture. You have your sales value propositions here. These are all the reasons. These are all the reasons. Oops. These are all the reasons why they would click this. If this here isn't this all here, this and this, if this all here isn't convincing enough, they're not going to click this call to action. Try it today is a nice call to action to use because you're not using the scary buy word. You're saying, try it. Just try it. It's nice and easy. Try it. So that's a little pro tip there. Try it today if you can get away with it. Okay, I'll try it. Then you ease them into having to give you money. Then you do the testimonials, maybe have some videos here, and then you hit them with another call to action. Okay, let's see what other questions we got going on here. I don't know if I answered this question. Talisa says, for the homepage, is it better to have a static page with an article linking to the main pages? Or would it be okay to have the main pages stickied on the homepage? I don't know what that means. If that's a specific WordPress thing.
It's basically putting like blocks, like you have like blocks, like 3 blocks on the homepage, and those blocks link out to internal pages.
It has to, as far as Google's concerned, thank you, Jordan, for translating. As far as Google's concerned, it has to be in the main content. So if it doesn't look like navigation, good, because then you're not passing, if it looks like, if it's in the main navigation, you're not passing as much link juice. Or at least that's my bucket to worry. I would rather it be in the main content in the text above the fold, because I know that's going to pass the most juice from the index page. But again, you only need to do that if the index page has any juice to throw to begin with. Because we're always properly linking, we're always linking to the money page. So if the index doesn't have any link juice to pass on anyway, then it doesn't matter. Okay. Darlene says, completely makes sense. We all have brains. Let's use them with Josh's knowledge as a basis. Okay, Darlene. Good. I'm glad to hear you all have brains. That is a very nice reassurance. Jimmy asks, what CRO best practices do you recommend implementing above the fold? Okay, good. I just went over them. He says, yeah, he says, oh, well, there you go. Okay, Connor Kimball asks, question, my company owns a separate domain for a discontinued brand. Both domains are registered under GoDaddy, but have different IP addresses and servers. My assumption is that there is still great benefit in popping the second domain's pages for its keyword and backlinking to my primary domain's money page. Yes, that'd be great. So, I mean, again, so you might ask in terms of, I was going to get to linking in a bit. So I'll get to linking in a bit. But if I don't talk about PBNs and linking, someone remind me. But I'll talk about that in a bit. Well, in fact, I can talk about that now because I went over CRO. I mean, how many times do I have to go over it? I've mentioned that about 1 million times. So then, last but not least, and to answer Connor's question here, then we get to linking. Now, all controversy aside, believe it or not, I'm going to say that Chase is partially correct. Shocker.
Oh my gosh, I got to go, guys.
Sorry, Jordan, I didn't mean to disgust you. But Chase is partly correct, is that yes, there's certain scenarios where you don't need link juice or a lot of link juice to rank. Of course, he lied that his one site he used to prove that is a lie. But there, I could provide other examples that are not lies, where yeah, you can rank without links. Like in local, you don't always need link juice. Kyle's rhinoplasty plano infamous test, barely had any link juice, at least at the start. It had citations, NAPs, name, address, phone citations that were text mentions for the most part, as I understand it. And maybe just one or two kind of little links here or there. And I've ranked major affiliate pages in affiliate niches with little to no link juice, like 5 links at maximum, for queries that were doing 100,000 searches a month. And so that's pretty, on skin cream queries. So that was pretty darn competitive stuff. And I was able to do it because I had a good Facebook person, namely my wife, and she was able to make it look like that was the main brand. People still get confused and think our Facebook is the main brand for that company, even though that company has long stopped paying me any money. So that's how we fooled Google. So linking, and then social, of course, social signals. So there's plenty of situation here where you can rank without without links. Here's the problem. That is not the vast majority of cases. That's like 1% of the time. So the vast majority of cases, you're going to need some link juice. And as everyone keeps trying to rank everything, and people start to realize that you can get away with a lot for linking, or people start to join scientific groups and start doing testing, they're going to realize you can get away with a lot for linking, and they're all going to start linking. And so any of those niches where they're totally decimated right now, and Google's ranking whatever garbage they can find because they wiped out too many black hats and now they don't have any good pages left anymore. And so Chase is managing, maybe, I strongly, actually, I'll take that back. Chase is not ranking anything anywhere. He has no idea what he's doing. Any page Chase is ranking is just because some big company went to him, and then as soon as he signed them on, says, hey, look here, I'm ranking these pages. He didn't do anything to it, though. But any case where anybody is like I used to, rank a page in a big niche without any link juice or very little link juice, just because Google has cleared out the black hats for the most part, and the black hats don't understand trust at that time, or entities. They do now. Some of them anyway. That's going to go away because anyone who's left in SEO is going to get cleared out next year. You're going to see huge problems. Google's going to keep making their updates every month, and no one's going to know what's going on. So next year, I predict we're going to see SEO getting cleared out massively. And the only people left are going to be people who are in my group or in a scientific group like this, and they're doing testing, and they find out actually that linking you can get away with quite a lot. And then they're going to throw links in those niches, and then the people who are ranking without links are not going to be able to rank anymore. So can you rank without links? Yes, maybe on tiny little niches, or maybe sometimes in local, which are all mostly tiny little niches, but not the majority of the time. So you're going to need to add some linking here. If only I knew how to use this tool properly. What happens when I do that? No, I don't want that. Oops. Wah, wah. Go. Opening up the Sketchpad. So we did our on page there. We chose the URL string. We did all the on page. Now we looked at our CRO and our traffic. We added Facebook traffic in there. Look at Melissa's course. Ask Melissa how to do that. Or we did AdWords. We wanted to pay 10 times the amount of money, but we might have made some sales. AdWords usually converts a bit better than Facebook. So whatever one is better for you. And we got happy traffic on there that did happy movements. They did not bounce, basically, either around or back to Google. And they did click around on page. Preferably even buy something. Hopefully that's what they did. And if they didn't do that, well then, if they did more of this, then that was a problem. You got to fix that. But if they did more of the latter, then that's what you need. And then you need to see how high you're ranking. Because if we don't have to add any links that are a risk, although much less of a risk nowadays that we know exactly what ranks and exactly what will penalize. But now, but if this is not enough to rank, then we're going to have to add some links. But this might be enough to rank already. Because social signals are an off-page ranking factor, and no follow links count, and you're doing no follow links and social posts and stuff like that. That might be enough to do. You can do some of your press releases here. That might help. You could do some PR. Check out with Calvin in the group. You can do Facebook shares maybe. See how that goes if you got something you can do there. And that would be enough to maybe rank. If it's not, then we need to start adding the linking. So take this. If you want to keep this whiteboard, I'm going to delete it. And then hopefully you grabbed it. Go ahead, go to YouTube, check it out again. So now we're going to talk about linking, womp, 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 which theoretically should be the final piece of what you're going to need to rank. Remember, we're working on a page-by-page basis. I don't care what the index page does, unless it's a ranking page. By now, we should be ranking in Google pretty highly on page 2 or maybe the top of page 1. Unless it's a very competitive niche, then maybe page 3. If it's not a competitive niche and you've done everything we talked about and you're not ranking it, you did it wrong. Try it again. You thought your quality is good enough, it's not. You thought your on page was good, it's not. All the methods I just talked about should be getting you, page 3 at worst, page 2 territory. And now all we need to do is add some link juice, theoretically, assuming that everyone else has link juice. And even if they don't, we need to add some link juice signals. Now, here's the thing. It's not as negative as everyone thinks it is. You never, ever, never disavow. Who wants to hear the disavow rant? You never disavow, but most of the links are not that bad that you need to disavow. Negative SEO is not a thing for linking, as far as I can tell, except for 3 cases that I can recall: forum profile links, comment links, or cloaked links. And that's links that are the same font color and that are otherwise hidden by the font color and do not have an underline when you mouse over them. These, as far as we could tell in testing, are the only links that will ever give you a demotion. You can get spammy links. So let me tell you what the ideal link is. The ideal link from top to bottom is a real blog with readers. Or even a newspaper, in fact. That's ideal. The worst kind of link is any step you get away from this, right? The more steps you get away from this, the worse the link gets. Like, for example, it's a public post site. It's a Web 2.0. Oh, by the way, to make this perfect, we had to pop the backlink. What does that mean? All that means, and it had to be, it doesn't have to be, but this is in testing what we did, it has to be exact match query anchor. That's the ideal. That is the Plato's form of the best link. Sorry, a little philosophy joke. That is the best possible link, theoretically speaking. Why do we pop the backlink? Because of the thing I showed you, because of your word cloud. Because we want all the links. So if you want to rank for red apples, we want all your links to be about red apples as well. And this page is about red apples and it's linking to you. And this page is about red apples and it's linking to you. And this page is about red apples and it's linking to you. That is what we want all the pages to be about. This gives a ×3 to 5 boost when we do your linking that way. So we took one link from the same site and we passed it to a page, it gave a 1 spot boost. We popped the backlink and it was a ×3 to ×5 boost from that. So that's why you want to pop your backlink. And you don't have to follow pop exactly. You don't have to put the images in there, although you probably should, because it makes it look like a better kind of article. It makes it look like a real kind of article, right? You don't have to make it 3,000 words. It could be, 1,000 words. You don't have to change the URL. You're not trying to rank this page for it, but it's almost, you definitely want to make it about it. If you want to rank for red apples, all of your backlink pages need to be about red apples and nothing but red apples. And they say what the best red apples are, and they link out to you with an exact match query, red apples, and they link to you. The best red apples are here, red apples. Or the best red apples are here, and they link to you with red apples. That's what it actually says in the article. Sorry, I guess you can't see that behind the Hangout stuff there. So that's the best kind of link that we've found in testing. Now, can you get dirty links that are different than this? Of course you can. I already told you, you never disavow, and none of the links are that bad. And you never have to worry about negative SEO except for forum profiles, including 301s, comment links, including 301s, and cloaked links, probably including 301s. We never tested that. Those are the only links that demote, as far as we can tell. Now, if you go down on this list and get Public Web 2.0 that are obviously selling links, because it says sponsored on it, yeah, you could even get a link from there. I've gotten links from there right to money pages. But that's what I call spammy. They look spammy, right? But all that's going to do, if this was your search console here and you're ranking here, all that's going to do is start making you A/B test like this. You might even disappear for a while. And then finally, 3 to 4 weeks later, you're going to get a boost. So that's fine. And if that happens after you make a link, that's why you don't want to do multiple things at once either you want to do all your on-page changes and see the boost you get. Okay. Then you make some links, you see the boost you get. Okay. Oh, and you make another link and you start A/B testing. Okay, leave it alone. And then 3 or 4 weeks later, it comes back. During this time, you're like, is this a quality problem? I'm not really sure what this is. I made a link and it got spidered exactly here. So it's probably the link, and I'll leave it alone. And that's sure enough, that's what it was. So you got to know the time everything takes, and you got to be doing one thing at once so you could diagnose, so you could spot diagnose what's going on. Otherwise, you need to use our audit process. So basically, that's how you do the linking. What am I missing here? Who has some questions? And you do that until you're ranking #1, and then you go and make some more queries and do that. Connor asked, my assumption is that there is still great benefit in popping the second domain's pages for its keyword and backlinking to my primary domain's money page. Yeah, so that's exactly what you're doing. Oh, PBNs, that's right. That's what I was going to talk about. So this is the ideal kind of link, a real newspaper and a real blog with real readers. Otherwise, I don't give a shit who owns it. So you could own it, they can own it, God can own it, Santa Claus can own it, Donald Trump can own it. I don't care who owns it. Because what makes it a PBN for you is that you own it. Otherwise, they're all blogs, aren't they? They're all web pages. So when you ask me, can I use a PBN? That's the wrong question to be asking. Can I? That's the kind of Santa Claus question to be asking. Can I? What you meant to ask was, what are the relative risk-reward variances if I use my own PBN? And then I say, good question. And then I say, go ahead, use it if you want to. I mean, if you already own it, go ahead, use it. I don't recommend PBNs as a way of building links because it's more expensive than this. It takes longer than this, and it's more risk than this. Just buy your links, guys, just like everyone else has been doing since Google started. It's not that hard. I've got 2 guys now that I'm not using too much. If all 100 of you email me at once to get links from these guys, we can't do it. But a few people have emailed me, and I've passed you on to them. And are they always perfect? No. These are human beings living in a third world country who barely understand English and apparently have a lot of stuff going on in their life. And sometimes things can be a little bit flaky. I'm not insulting them. I'm not making a racial comment or anything like that. I'm just saying that my experience with Upwork is that these guys living over wherever for all I know, they could be down the street from me. I don't even know. I shouldn't even say. I assume they're in the third world because of the prices they're accepting are ridiculously low. For me, they're reasonable for them. But sometimes they make mistakes, and sometimes they don't understand English. And think about every other customer they have. Like, imagine if you're a third world linker on Upwork, and you have all these stinking Americans and stinking Canadians and all these Westerners. Roll your eyes and feel the sarcasm. All these Westerners trying to throw them money who barely understand, just tossing them money and not even checking the links they're making. Of course, there's going to make crap. You know, sure, I will take your giant American dollars to give you crap links all day long. And suddenly, this jerk Josh comes along. And he has all these rules we need to follow. Otherwise, he won't pay us. And we make the links. And I didn't understand his English and didn't read it to begin with. Like, think of it from his perspective, right? The job he's doing. So I found two guys that are at least half decent. And do they make mistakes? Of course they do. You know, are they is every link going to be like the shining example of this newspaper link every time? No. Sometimes they're going to creep down here a couple places. But that's fine. They're still good. They're not that bad. All the links are fine. You don't have to worry about this. This is not really a thing that happens very much. It happens with 301s, but it doesn't really happen that much. So take your link juice and go and drink your juice and shut up. You know, like it's not as bad as you think it is, right? Now, what if you made some links? What if you're over here and you made some links, and you know you made a link and this happens? I've never seen that happen ever unless we've done this. So that's not going to happen. If it does, it's probably unrelated. What if you're doing on page and this happens? Okay, you did it wrong. That shouldn't ever happen. Whenever we do on page, it always goes up. It always gets better. Okay. Well, what if you're doing on page and it does this and then it does this and starts dancing down here? That happens all the time. This means if this is exactly when you spidered it, you got to check the exact dates, then this is where your on page actually got you to. And that was good, but you just don't have the quality. You have a quality problem. You need to do your CRO again. There is a quality problem here. That's why this happened. Google does not trust your site. It doesn't trust your site because it sent some users to your site and they did weird things. And so as Jordan reminded me earlier and just reminded me now in the YouTube chat, this is where you can try and fake it with some Facebook traffic. If they're happy and they like what they see here, you reduce the chance of this happening after you do your on page, which this shouldn't happen anyway, because ideally you should have the conversion rate optimization set before you're changing your pages that are already ranking. Maeve asks, links for brand new sites. What's your methodology? Huge blast or slow drip? Whatever you can afford. Go ahead, do a huge blast. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. There's no penalty for I did 150,000 links at once. Boom, pegged that page to #1 for years. No matter what I could do with the spammiest herbal Viagra, herpes link crap you could possibly throw at it. Pegged it to #1 in Bing, Yahoo, and Google for years. You could build them all at once because that happens all the time. You don't have to do a slow drip. That would probably look suspect. The huge blast is probably what Google sees all the time because this new cryptocurrency comes out. It's called Josh Ethereum, and everyone wants to trade in Josh Ethereum. So you get a bunch of news articles and a bunch of people talking about it in the blogosphere, and you get 10,000 links at once. It happens all the time. So whatever you can afford, if you can afford to do a huge blast, do a huge blast. But quite frankly, I only usually need 5 to 10 links to rank. This is usually how many links I need. Because I'm doing it correctly right to the money page and I'm popping it, I'm squeezing all the possible juice out of these ideal links that are possible. Okay, so what other questions you guys got here? That's kind of in a nutshell how it's working with all of our testing. Everything I didn't cover here, everything I didn't talk about, don't do. I don't know. Either I haven't tested it, so I don't know. I can't tell you with any authority what the answer will be, and that's against the goals of my group. Or I've consistently ranked and shown consistent rankings for everybody else who's tried it. Most everybody else. Some people have quit the group. Who I think they wanted more of a Chase Reiner style. Do this, do that. It's easy. Whereas I'm like a tough love. It's hard. Sorry, you have to make 100 discerning decisions a day. So here's all the background information. Have fun. That's not the kind of work they wanted to do. They thought SEO was an easy thing. So some people, I think, quit the group for that reason. But everyone who's stuck with it, as far as I know, for the most part, maybe haven't got all the results they wanted, but they've gotten some results. And you could check bit.ly/SEO proof to see the proof. We've got 170 examples in there now of people getting better rankings, of me getting better rankings for clients, and of you guys getting better rankings. I don't know what kind of better evidence I can give other than there's 170 examples of us succeeding in there, of us kicking ass. What other group has 170 examples of us kicking ass? Even if only 10% of that were true, there's still 17 examples of people kicking ass in there. But it's all true. I didn't Photoshop any of it. I'm not Chase Reiner. So what other questions do you got? If you guys don't have any other questions, then I guess I can go have some cornflakes, I suppose.
I don't have any more questions. You pretty much answered them all.
All right. Well, thanks, Ryan. Thanks for letting me know.
I posted a link of a CRO or call to action kind of landing page that I use on a lot of my personal sites.
This is the pest control one here?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, cockroaches. Ooh.
I know.
Oh, those
so
are terrible.
This is how I typically build them because I use Hotjar, and every time I see a recording, everything is going from top left to bottom right. So that's why I changed all my CTA to this now.
Yeah.
So I think what a lot of people forget is with the homepage, just think of your homepage as being a 30-second elevator pitch. And as part of what your company is, typically some people may or may not want to necessarily rank their homepage for some keywords. A little bit is different, but typically that's kind of how I build them personally. So they should be able to get to you, some type of contact you as fast as possible, and at least know some information about who you are as quickly as possible. So that's kind of my little tip of the day.
Yeah, and this is a great converting page here too. It's essentially the same. It's the same layout. It's you've got the problem. You're selling the dream here. I don't want any of these things in my house. Here's the solution. It doesn't have to be. It can be pictorial. It doesn't have to be verbal, right? And here's the phone number, and it's in the bottom right of above the fold. It's the same thing. If I put this on mobile, it's going to be the same kind of deal, right? So it looks even better on mobile, actually. On iPhone 6, it looks perfect.
Yeah.
Don't want this. Here's the number. Call now. Call to action. Call now. People are like zombies. I hate the fact that Freud is right. In my academic career, I argued that Freud was wrong. We're all rational beings. Humans can make rational choices. We can, but usually we don't. And I think Freud overall was pretty correct. We make emotional decisions. We are little zombies. And if someone tells us in a position of authority to call now, we will do it. We'll go, okay, we'll call now. Sorry, sir. And we'll do it. So that's what you got to say. Call now. And you'll get rid of these. That's what I want. And then you've got more reasons why they should call. These are like, this is the same as the testimonials, right? You've got you're selling the dream here. The happy family protected by the mean guy with the sprayer. And there's no bugs. Look how happy they are. Oh, it's so sweet. And no more of this stuff. And now you have it again at the bottom page. It's exactly the same landing page that I have. So it pleases me that you and I have come to the same. We've never talked about this, but it pleases me that you and I have come to the same conclusion as to how to sell best. So I have unless there's more questions, I have some.
Thanks to the title.
Oh yeah, Jesper says it must be impossible to rank a page with that design. It has no text. It does have some text. It doesn't have a lot of text.
I just wanted to show this as an example. I use this for my black hat stuff, but don't use this as necessarily a ranking. I just wanted to show you guys what a call to action should look like.
Yeah, but if this was a GMB play, which would probably be a GMB play, the homepage is not ranking on the text anyway. It's ranking on the GMB, the strength of the entity.
Yep.
So you wouldn't necessarily need all that text anyway.
Are you saying that, like,
in this case, I would probably put the content below the fold?
Yeah. You could flesh this out a bit more. These could be accordion tabs.
Yeah.
That would have more content. They wouldn't even have to see it, and Google would still count it and still give you a boost for it.
When you say GMB play, you mean like you're forwarding people from the GMB website like directly to this page? Because typically if they're searching that, they're definitely interested in it.
No, when I say a GMB play, and usually when Jordan says that as well, we mean local SEO ranking.
Okay.
In the map pack.
Cool.
Right? So if I want to do pest control for my area here in Victoria, so this map pack ranking, this guy doesn't even have any views. Look at that. This map pack ranking, oh wait, this is the US one. This is, of course, based on his GMB and entity stuff and more citation stuff. That's what this ranking is about. This ranking has almost nothing to do with what's on his homepage. Almost nothing.
Cool.
Whereas ranking here, this has everything to do with what's on his homepage. So you have to understand the different ranking entities for the different areas.
Thanks for explaining that.
Okay, so let's go over a bunch of what ifs. Let's try to do some brainstorming, guys. And you guys think of all the what if scenarios you can, and just go ahead and throw them out there, and I'll write them down. So what if you're ranking and then suddenly your rankings take a drop like this? What do? This is what you do. You check the industry to see if it was industry rated drop. The next thing you do is an audit. Actually, no, sorry, that's wrong. The next thing you do is you check the tech. Is there a technical problem? You could interchange these two if you wanted. Is there a technical problem? And then what you do is an audit, a complete audit from someone who knows single variable experiments. And you make a complete work list, and then you fix, and then you check, and then you repeat. That's what you would do if you were already ranking and you just suddenly had a huge drop like that. And if you found there was an industry shakeup, you could figure out some info, maybe you could find some info about it, but again, it would be speculative at best. And it would lead you astray probably with all the rumors and all the hearsay and all the guessing. And so you really just want to do an audit based on SVE. That's really what you want to do anyway. Okay. Do you guys have any what ifs you want to go over? What if you do, shout them out or let me know. Okay, what if your rankings look like this? You're going to drop like this, and you're going to drop like this, and you're getting a drop like this, and you're getting a drop like this. What is that indicative of? And this is your rankings, not your impressions. If this was your impressions, these could be weekends, and that could be weekend traffic, and that would make sense. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this is your rankings.
Is it A/B testing?
Sorry?
Is it A/B testing?
Yeah, it is A/B testing. For some reason, over a period of time, Google is deciding, if you looked into the queries here, and you should look in Search Console to see what queries are dropping and what's happening with them. If you see that, then what's happening here is Google's decided to A/B test you. In other words, you have quality problems. The traffic is not great. You're right on the cusp of bad quality. So Google decides to shuffle your site out and shuffle another site in, is what they did. When you go down, someone else goes up.
And they would compare the quality scores against each other, right?
Exactly. And Google goes, oh, okay, no, these guys are still better to put you back. Okay, oh, the quality is still not very happy. Oh, I'm going to try it again. Try someone else. You're on the cusp. And then suddenly what's going to happen over here is that there's going to be one more drop, and you ain't going to come back. I see this all the time. I've posted this in the group quite a lot. Yeah. These are the fangs of Panda. These are the fangs of the evil panda.
And you're saying Facebook traffic can be a good solution to prevent the drop?
Only if the Facebook traffic likes what they find.
Okay.
Right? If the Facebook traffic is just as unimpressed as your Google traffic, you're not going to help anything. Okay. I don't know that. This is my bucket to guess.
Yeah.
Right? We've tested traffic from many different sources, but they've only boosted if they this is what they need to do. Use your page. Here's your content. Here's your keyword with the main information. They need to go to the page. They need to move their mouse over and move their mouse around, do circles with their mouse, and they need to click words and click this. That's the specific test that Jordan and I did. And it didn't seem to do anything at first. And we're like, oh, damn. And Jordan's like, oh, damn, I thought my traffic was working. I'm like, well, maybe it is. Single variable tests aren't always correct. And then 3 to 4 weeks later, this page went bloop and went to number 1 and stayed there. So this was a site-based traffic signal of positivity. And that's how I know. I've tested this, guys. This is how I know more of a bucket 1 kind of fact that positive traffic gives you a boost and bounces back to Google, give you demotion, and internal bounces on the site will demote this page and will demote this page. That is a negative factor that's page-based and also site-based. This is a positive factor that seems to be more site-based.
Yeah, it's really helpful too, especially if you're doing pop or Cora changes, because typically you're going to get some type of rescoring. And by sending social traffic, it kind of helps reiterate to Google, hey, my page is still good, worthy to be ranked high because I'm getting all this traffic from social still. So that's how I was using it.
Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that little tip, Jordan, because what I'm suspecting is happening there, whenever you change your content or you change your URL string, Google has to completely reprocess your page for quality. And that happens by, one user comes in, another user, and they need users to come in to suddenly give you a quality score. So if you don't have a lot of users coming in, it's going to take a longer time to get that quality score. When you're sending Facebook traffic to it and you're sending traffic to it, as long as they are clicking stuff and they are mousing over stuff and they're spending time there and they seem to be enjoying it, then you're going to get that quality score much faster because you're putting more traffic in much quicker. So that's my best bucket 2 guess as to what's going on there. That would be hard to test in isolation, but we could think about testing stuff like that.
But stuff like Crazy Frog would be a good application to see the quality issue, right? That's what you always are saying.
Crazy Egg.
Crazy Egg.
Yeah, Screaming Frog is a more of a crawl your whole site kind of a deal and tell you what your titles are and whatnot. That's useless. You don't need that. The only tools you need is Cora, Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and SVE tests from whomever, wherever. That is, you could use Hrefs occasionally to see the links, but you don't really need it. You could use SERPworks to see that as well. You don't really need those. There's a title tool I like to use, but you don't really need it. What am I missing here? GMB. There might be some GMB stuff you want to do, press release stuff you might want to do for citations.
Should Pop be in there?
Yeah, sure. I mostly use Cora, but you can also use Pop. You got to use Pop plus Cora, really. Use them together. Okay. What other what ifs? I thought I saw Jesper share a what if in there. Let's see what he said. What if your rankings are on a slow but steady decline over months? That's a good question. That's a good question, Jesper. Thank you. Yeah, that happens all the time. So what if you see something like this? Okay, wow, they're ranking really well. And then, it goes a little down. And, it goes a little bit more down. And, it goes a little bit more down. And, it's going down a little bit more. And this is what's happening over time. Okay, check these dates. Were these industry-related shakeups? Not that it really matters. Not that there's much you could do about it. But again, these are all probably Panda / quality problems. Remember, Google calls Panda and quality relevance updates. What makes something relevant? The keywords on the page and the signs of it being quality, which includes social, which includes traffic. This is what Google means when they say it's a relevance update.
Get with the times.
So that's what it means. When Google says it's not relevant because it doesn't have the right words in the page. When Google says it's not relevant, it's because it doesn't have quality. John Mueller has used relevance and quality as synonyms for years. So that's basically what that means. It means the same thing. Full audit with SVE power. Make a work list, fix, check, and then repeat. That's all you do. That's all you do every time. That's what you do every time. Don't like me, do your own SVE test or join SIA. I'm not trying to keep you all in here. I'm not John Goodman in that movie where he was trying to keep that girl in the basement or something or whatever it was. Do your own SVE test if you like. But you need to do scientific testing. SEO is way too hard and way too obfuscated, and there's way too much lying not to do it without SVE. Okay, what other what ifs you guys got? Let's do some more what ifs here. What other kind of what ifs? You guys got any? Okay, what if we have a page here like this, and we got a header? This is the header. And let's say we have a product here, we have sales value propositions here, we have a call to action, and we got the price here. Got $299, whatever it is. Here's the price. Here's the call to action button. And so let's say the traffic comes down. We can see them. We watch them in Crazy Egg, or in Hotjar. We see them coming down to here. We see them mousing over this. And as soon as this comes on the screen, they leave. What's the problem there?
Too expensive.
Right. The price is too high. If we're watching recording after recording, as soon as this becomes visible on the screen, they leave. We see it again and again and again. Well, then, sorry, your price is too high. And if your answer to that is, well, Josh, that's not an SEO problem, I say, well, it is now. If your answer to that is, well, Josh, I can't change the price. Sorry, you got to. These people you got to sell them better in here. These sales value propositions have to prepare them for and justify this price right here.
What about removing the price and putting a contact point there instead to make it look like it's still successful?
Yeah, you can do that. You can get rid of the price here. If the price is too high, that's another trick you can do. You get rid of it, and because clearly the problem is always the same in sales. The problem is you did not sell them. This price could be $1 million. And theoretically, that's not a problem as long as these sales value propositions justify that price. Right? These sales value propositions, this picture, everything you said above here has to justify hitting them with that price. If it does, you can charge whatever you want. Does that make sense? No one's saying anything. Does it not make sense? Ryan, you're the designated student talking person because you like to talk a lot. So you can tell me if that makes sense or not.
It makes complete sense.
Okay, good. Jasper says it makes sense. Good. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. So, so that's the problem. You got to watch the recordings. You got to watch the snapshot in a Crazy Egg or Hotjar, but you also want to watch the recordings. The recordings, and watch this the lowest time to the highest time, and just watch them again and again and again and again and again, and you will learn what the problem is. Now, if this price is too high, you need to get better sales value propositions, or you need to just have a email us button, and then you basically sell them over email. Or if this price is too high and they're still not ready to buy, you got to give them more testimonials. You got to give them more pictures of happy stuff. You have to get rid of the fear. You have to figure out what's scaring them. You have to figure out what's turning them off before you hit them with the price and then the call to action buy button. Okay, so let's go over another what if here. What if you've got a site and it's ranking here like this? And what if you've got a silo here? You're like, Josh, what should I do with this silo? And I'd be like, I don't know. How are you ranking? And you're like, I'm not ranking on page 1. And I'd be like, do you have any links that are coming to here? The answer is no. No links are coming to here. Then I'd say, delete all these. You don't need these. Just focus on the money page. Point links at the money page. You don't need them because this is not helping this. You could leave these here, but now it's increasing the size of your word cloud bigger with all the superfluous words you have on here. And some people might be like, well, then you're going to lose a bunch of rankings. Yeah, if you delete all these, you're going to lose a bunch of rankings. You're going to go down to this smaller word cloud here. But you might increase the rankings of this page and this page because you got rid of this anchors on it. The word cloud's going to be tighter, but you told me you didn't care about those rankings, that it didn't help. And if these rankings do help, well, then don't delete it. But now you have to, every page is a money page. Repeat that in your head. Every page is a money page. Every page is a ranking page. Ryan, say it aloud.
Every page is a money page.
Good, very good.
So we need blogs. Got it. Okay.
No. Yeah, Ryan. I shouldn't be teasing Ryan because he's literally could drive down here to beat me up if he wanted to. He's only an hour away. I should bug Jesper or someone, even though Jesper looks like he's a big guy. Because it'd be harder for you to come over here and beat me up. But yeah, so if you want to keep these rankings, by all means keep them. But if you don't need this, it's not going to help. And this could be a blog as well. This could be, like there could be 40 pages in here because this is not helping this rank. And ideally, you want to cut off the blog and make it its own site and make this its own site. So you can now write link juice back to the money pages from here. This is not what John Mueller told me to do. I don't know if you guys noticed on that Hangout. John Mueller said there's no reason why this site can't have enough quality that it also has a blog on it and you need to make these separate. But that's not what I find, quite frankly. I think Jordan would agree. You definitely don't want to do that for local. It's not really going to help for local queries at all.
Oh.
And I think it's better to either make this its own subdomain or make this its own site. You could retain the rankings that way. It's not going to help you rank. That would be my recommendation there. I don't think it's going to help you. Okay, what ifs do you guys got? You guys think of some more what ifs? Okay, here's another one. Okay, Josh, I have a site and it's like this. Okay, and I have a bunch of PBNs. And here they are here. PBNs, 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 PBNs. Okay, fine. And they're all linking to my index page. What do? Do I delete all my PBNs? No. Of course you don't delete your PBNs. You already got them. You have link juice flowing to the site. Of course you don't delete them. Now you need to do is just on your index content, you need to link down to your product pages and your index content. That's what you need to do. Or if you control these PBNs, change the link from the index. Don't link to the index if you control these PBNs. You should pop these backlinks and you should change them to your money pages. And you'll get a way bigger boost if you control all these. And if you don't control all these, they're not really PBNs, are they? And you're like, Josh, should I go out and buy a bunch of PBNs? No, because they cost more than just buying links.
I think that's super important what you just said. Like, I think people are always trying to send links to a hub page and link out to an internal page. Why not just send the links directly to the ranking page or the money page? It drives me nuts when people do that.
Yeah, it's bad habits of SEO community who doesn't know what they're doing. And so yeah, it's perfectly safe to link right to your money page. Now, this is in most scenarios. Now, if you're in porn or gambling, you might have to run some PBNs because some blogs won't link direct to the money page. You'll have to link to a page that's not popped properly. Because remember, every page. So if you're ranking porn, we've got some popo here. Remember, your backlink page has to be about the same thing. So if your backlink page here is about porn and they won't link to this, well, they're not going to link to this either. It's not going to work. But I have guys in the blogs that it looks like a real blog, but it's not real. It's quote real. It's a quote real blog, and they'll link to porn all day long. They don't care. I just had the craziest sex robot thing they were just doing. I couldn't believe these things existed, one. And two, from a European guy who used to get crypto links from me, Now he's moved off crypto because crypto has gone older than a shitter, and now he's on sex dolls. I see everything, folks. I see it all before it happens. So if you already got some PBNs, no, don't change it. And if you've got some PBNs in the works coming and you can't stop that deal, well, then fine, keep them. I have nothing against PBNs necessarily. The only problem with PBNs is they're too expensive and they're too risky. And they're too time intensive because now you got to maintain them. You got to pay for their registration and everything and blah, 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 blah. That's my problem with PBNs. And if anybody notices your PBNs and reports them to Google, well, then Google can hit all of them at once, and then all that's wasted and gone. Whereas they can report that real blog all they like, and it is sufficiently cloaked. Do you all understand what I mean by sufficiently cloaked? It's just real enough that they can't tell the difference between a real newspaper, real news blog, and our real news or blog. They can't tell the difference.
Should look exactly like a money site.
Sorry, Jordan?
I said it should look like a money site.
Yeah, it should look good. It amazes me all the ones that I see. It's like a guy says, I got newspaper links, and he sends it to me, and there's like 20 Canadian newspaper links of newspapers I know very well are not newspapers because I live in Canada. the Canadian, dog bite. Well, like what? Like that's not a real newspaper. And you check, and it has Canadian-looking articles with Justin Trudeau all over the place, but that's not a real newspaper. I could tell the address in Winnipeg is not a real street in Winnipeg. It's not a real place, right? So that's where we're getting our links from, is ones that are indistinguishable. They're sufficiently cloaked. Because an algorithm and an AI is stupid so far and cannot tell the difference between this and this. And with all the clickbaiting and all the social stuff, they get like up to 10,000 visitors a month on some of these quote unquote real blogs. So that's perfectly fine. So that's where we're getting it from. I've tested them. They work. They have another word that I like, is plausible deniability. All of your links need to have plausible deniability. PBNs do not have a very good plausible deniability when they're on your account. Or they all look the same, or Google can see a footprint. They're all on the same IP or something like that. So you need plausible deniability, and I get them from putting them on blogs that they cannot tell the difference between if it's actually a real blog that's not selling links or it's not a real blog and they are selling links. And the worse it gets is when they say, sponsored. If it says sponsored anywhere, or it has like a buy links here kind of a thing in the footer, then you don't get links there. That's not good enough. That'd be many levels down in the quality that I talked about. That would probably make your linking thing start running like this. But it would eventually come back. Because at the end of the day, Google has made a period here to try and scare SEOs to make us disavow or do something stupid. If you just leave that alone, it will fluctuate and then it'll go up. You would not believe how easy linking is and how non-careful you need to be if you've done the single variable testing. Okay, what else we got here? What other what ifs can we think of? Is there any I didn't cover? Let me look at the Skype group to see if they have any questions. Robert says something about, I don't understand what the hell this question is you guys are talking about in here. This redirecting to sitemap and canonical tagging the sitemap to the homepage. I have no idea what this is about. Someone explain it to me.
There was a talk earlier up above that Ted posted that I think sparked that question. I will see if I can find it.
No, Prezi asked first, and then Ted answered.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Connor says, oh, I answered it during the review video. Okay. Okay, guys. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, then I won't keep you sitting here and listen to me drone on and on. Let me think. Can I think of any other? If you guys think of any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat now. If you guys could think of anyone here on, let me see here. Oh, hold on. There's some questions on YouTube. Oh, okay. There's a whole bunch of them here. Hold on.
And Robert, I think, has a question he just wrote in the Skype group.
Oh, okay. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, designated student.
Designated teacher.
No problem. Connor says, following up on his first question, should he assume that because the same domain will be linking to my main domain so many times, the value of each link gradually diminishes? Yes, it does. So I haven't tested this, but this is in the original PageRank paper that basically one IP address, one C block gives you the juice. Every subsequent link you have after that doesn't give you as much juice. However, I've seen tests in the field that contradict that. I keep link from the same bank of sites. I keep linking to different money pages, and I keep getting a boost on those money pages. So I think you can be a little bit more liberal, quite frankly, and you can link from multiple blog pages on our quote-unquote real blogs to individual money pages, not to the index page, and you can keep boosting that way. I would do that until you see you see diminishing returns, until you don't see a boost anymore. Connor asks, do you or Jordan have advice for getting a wiki page set up? We are an established company and have plenty of mentions in the news to point to, but email me. I have a Wikipedia guy in my email list. Kevin asks, do clicks on internal links, this is what I was waiting for. Do clicks on internal links improve quality score, or do we want them to stay on the same page the Facebook ad linked to? Oh, that reminds me. I was going to show you something here, guys.
I want them to convert on my page. I don't want them to have to go to another page. But that's me personally.
Yeah. So do clicks on internal links improve quality score, or do we want them to stay on the same page the Facebook ad linked to? No, clicks on internal links do not. Jordan's right. I would agree with him. I can't say he's right. As far as I could tell through testing, we want people to stay on the same page. We do not want them hopping around. We definitely don't want them bouncing. We want them to stay on the same page that the Facebook ad linked to, or the Google traffic went to, or any ad linked to. This is all traffic, guys. This is not just Facebook. This is all traffic that Google can track. Any modern browser they can track. The only browser they can't track is probably like Tor. It's probably the only browser they can't track, and I wouldn't recommend downloading it because then the NSA is going to be watching like a hawk because they think you're either Julian Assange or you're with ISIS or something. So, so yeah, you want them to stick on the page and to get what they want and to like it, and then close their session more or less. Thoughts on buying expired domains via 301 routing backlinks to your site instead of buying backlinks? Obvious relevant domains with PMQ or EMQ anchors. Thank you, Kurt. Kurt, otherwise known as Mr. Net Creative himself, over there in Europe land. Yes, that's a good what if. Okay, so he's saying, what if you buy expired domains, so age domains, aged or expired, you buy these and you 301 them to your site, which is here, versus buying links on our real blogs. And then he says, my thoughts on that, rerouting backlinks to your site instead of buying backlinks. And okay, so here's the deal. And I know why you put that you put that caveat in there. Obvious relevant domains with PMQ or EMQ anchors. This is still better. This is still what I choose for a number of reasons. One, it's cheaper. It's less expensive. It's more targeted. I can have better control of it. This is more expensive. It is higher risk. This is not as pop controlled. This is worse. I don't like doing this. Now, if you already have them, can you 301 them? Yes. I would rather make a link. I'd rather pop this page and make a link instead. Instead of 301ing. Do 301s pass juice? Yeah, they pass juice. Now, it depends, though. It's all relative. Like, if this had a PA or a DA of like 90, well, then, yeah, hell yeah, I want that 301. But otherwise, I want it to be popped, and I want it to be EMQ, and I want a link to the page. So it really depends. So if you can get these DAPA 90 sites for cheap or really low quality, low cost, go ahead. But where are you going to do that? When's that going to happen? That's never going to happen. These I can get from like $20 to $90 a pop. Pretty good ones, actually. So I would do this instead of this. I wouldn't go for this. If I had it, I would do it, but I wouldn't go for it. If a friend gave me a PA, like a DA90 site, great. If a friend gave me a DA90 site, I would make a blog out of it, and I would sell advertisement and sell links on it. That's how I would make money off of this. I would not just 301 it. Okay, perfect. Very good what if. Thank you, Kurt, very much. So Jordan and Kevin are having a conversation here about CTA and quality score. No, it is not better for them to hover around or navigate through the site some, Kevin. This is what we want. We want the source of the traffic to go to the money page, and then we want them to quit. That's it. They don't do anything else. They convert here. They get what they want, and they terminate the search for search traffic is what we want them to do. For Facebook traffic, they have to highlight and click stuff to get the promotion. For search traffic, we do not want them to go back. This is what we don't want. And we don't even want them going forward and then back, because then this page is going to get a demotion. Don't want that either. We want them to convert. So instead of an X, I'm going to say check mark. We want them to convert, and that's it. They're done. Okay, that's good. What other kind of what ifs you guys got here? Let's get everyone on the same page here. As Jordan says, if they terminated search by hitting the CTA in 10 seconds, that's still terminating the search. You're right. Jordan is, as per usual, correct. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Dwell time is not a ranking factor. We've tested dwell time. It's not a ranking factor. If it was a ranking factor, I would have told you. I'd have said so. Remember when I said, all of my lovely students, who I love dearly, remember when I said, what I didn't say, don't do? What I didn't say is not a ranking factor either. I've mentioned all the relevant ranking factors in this thing. So if you're going to be like, Josh, what about if I don't know, what if I do Instagram happy faces at my site? I don't know. I don't know what that is. That's some young person thing. And I've never done it. So I have no idea if it's a ranking factor. Although if it's a social signal, it probably is, because Instagram is a huge social site. All right, guys, what else you got here? Oh, there's a thing I wanted to show you here. Okay, so here's another thing that you guys really want to do. You really want, this is part of the second audit you do, or this is really kind of part of the second audit you do, or this is part of the when you're doing your on-page stuff, you really want to check, see what the other competition is doing. So I have this site here, Jaguar Parts, that was ranking second page. No, sorry, JagBits, that was ranking second page, much lower. Still, they were number 1 or 2 for a couple days there. Now they're back down here to number 5. This is probably because They just turned off the Facebook. This is what happens when you turn off your Facebook traffic. Wah, wah. So here's a nice little in the field observation there for you. And that's the other problem when you get onto a traffic source is that now you got to stay on it. If it's giving you a boost, then you got to stay on it. But this is too bad because this client was number 1. He's going to check, and now he's number 5. And now he's going to be like, he just canceled his monthly. So now he's going to be like, Josh, you sabotaged my site when I canceled. And I'd be like, no, you sabotaged it when you turned off your Facebook traffic that my wife was doing for you. Sorry. Anyway, but we did get him to number 1 there with the traffic that was happy because we did something like this. We looked at the competitors and we noticed that they all had some kind of 60% off kind of bullshit. Now, he told me this was a lie. Like, they weren't actually giving 60% off. The prices were the same. They just claimed to give 60% off. So, like, what is the list price anyway, right? So we put the same thing here and then re-indexed, and then we got the boost. And that got me thinking about how Google might actually process the things you're saying on your page, like the sentiment stuff. And it works the same, and Jordan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it works the same in the GMB listing. If you have free parking and you put free parking in your GMB, you will literally get a boost from just saying you have free parking. Sorry, Jordan?
Yep, that's absolutely true.
And so it got me thinking that Google could very well be doing the same kind of thing in organic, in informational search. The more you say you have the awesomest, best, greatest, coolest thing, and the more you're saying you're giving discounts, you're giving they're shipped the same day, free shipping. We have the largest selection, new and used. We have the largest and best selection of new and used, blah, 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 blah. It seems like every time we do that, both in single variable testing and in the field, we get boosts from doing it. So I don't think it's a problem to say, can you guys even see what I'm looking at? Oh, you guys, never mind, sorry. Here we go. This is what I was talking about. Ryan, you didn't speak up. This is what we put in here because a bunch of his competition had it as well.
It was all visible.
You can see it now, though, right?
Yeah, it was visible before though.
Oh, it was? It was for you, probably not for everybody else.
Oh, okay.
Ryan, tisk. So his competition here. So take a look at what your competition is doing. This is just a giant list of parts that is literally in like a list here like this. This could be more what they're looking for to have. These guys, again, have a giant list of parts. These guys here are the ones that had the 50% off, and that's who we copied here. They were number 1 previously, but you can see everything's shifting around because it's what the users want, right? Sometimes the users want to see a discount. Sometimes they're just like, I just want to find my Jaguar part. Yeah, I have a 2007. I have an S-Type. I want to get the 4.2. Like, they just want a little list to do it, right? This is probably easier to use than reading through all of this crap here. Even though this is pretty Crazy Egg, the usage here is pretty high. Like, I've done Crazy Egg on this page, obviously, and the usage here is pretty high. So this did get him a number 1 spot for a while. Sadly, I can't brag about it. It's dropped to number 5 here. That makes me sad. Actually, I wonder if can we look at it? When did this happen, actually? When did this occur? Well, it was number 1 before. I don't get it. Are we in a drop here? What's going on? What is going on? Yeah, you had problems here. We got it back here. Was doing better. Oh, I mean, this is pretty close to number 1 on average. It could have been
Number 2 for me.
Is it?
Yeah,
it was number 1, number 2. Maybe it still is for him. Maybe that's why he hasn't emailed me. that's why he hasn't emailed me yet. It was Jagbits that was ranking. Yeah, it was number 3, and then we got some flux here. Yeah, so I don't know. So this was on page and speed we did here. Also some links as well. So I don't know what's going on there, but Let's see here. Also, we got him a boost here. Yeah, this is where he got to more number one around here. It doesn't always necessarily show in Search Console. Here's another thing about Search Console is that if the information you're getting here is not making any sense or it's not what you want to see, make sure you download it to Excel and learn how to use Excel well and play with the data, because sometimes Excel tells a totally different story than Search Console does. It's the same data, but just look at it in a slightly different way. So, but anyway, my point here was you want to take a look at what the other customers have done. And I have a suspicion that it could just be traffic. And maybe I'm wrong, but I have a suspicion that what if Google is just giving boosts for literally saying up to 60% off? Or like there appears to be some kind of, there's a sales signal, they'll give it a boost. There's a sentiment signal, they'll give it a boost. A sales signal, they'll give it a boost. Free signal, they'll give it a boost. Better shipping, they'll give it a boost compared to everybody else, right? Now, this could have backfired. What if the customer saw this and then checked the pricing and said, hey, this is not 60% off. What the hell? This could have actually maybe backfired. Who knows? But I would actually go here, look at the competition, see what the competition is doing when you plan your page out. This page is terrible. I don't know why this page should be beating this page here. That's the other thing I wanted to mention was definitely checking your competition out to see what the competition is doing. Okay, what other questions we got here? Kurt says, I might get it wrong, but if the expired domain has 20 backlinks and we 301 the domain, we reroute 20 backlinks. Theoretically, yes, but they're not. And you put the caveat with PMQ or EMQ. Okay, fine. If you could make them PMQ or EMQ, go ahead. But how much did you have to pay for that? And what if the domain has a penalty? Right? Age domains are always a gamble. They're rolling the dice. We're here to do search engine optimization, not search engine gambling. So if you're like, Josh, I can't find a good linker to save my life, and whatever, I don't like the links you have, then this is all I can do. Well, then do it. If that's all you can do, then do it. But I would still get links on our quote unquote real blogs. It's cheaper, there's more control, easier to remove, easier to tell Google why you have it. You have better plausible deniability. It's better on every metric. And when are you going to find an aged domain, an expired domain, that is exactly on the query you want to rank for? You're not going to find one that's exactly on the query you want to rank for. If I want to rank for best red apples, when am I going to find bestredapples.com? It has to be, it has to be bestredapples.com. It has to be best red apples to be exact match query. This is what's going to help it maximally. Remember, if I want to rank for best red apples, then all of the pages linking here have to be on the same thing. If it's just on best or just on red or just on apples, this is not as good. I will take the links, don't get me wrong, but now I'm fluffing out my tag cloud to even bigger and bigger, and this is ranking lower. All the links have to be best red apple links. To have the tiniest word cloud to boost that up. So when are you going to find this? I mean, I don't think we're arguing about unicorns. They don't exist, right? This is a Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. Sorry to all burst your bubbles again, but this is a Santa Claus argument. You might be able to find one domain that's bestredapples.com. Fine, 301 it. Boom, good job. But you're not going to find stuff that's exactly on it, and you need to be exactly on it. So again, this is too expensive, too much risk, and it never happens anyway. So I would prefer to buy my quote unquote real blog links, that's what I would go for instead. Okay, guys, any remaining questions?
I think there was one in the Skype chat.
In the Skype chat. Let's see here.
It says, have you ever tested href lang tag for link juice by Robert?
Sorry, say again.
Have you ever tested?
Oh, I see. No, Robert, I have not. I have never tested hreflang. The way it seems to work, or the way it's supposed to work, is let's go here. Blah, blah, blah. Come on, go delete. Go do it. Boom. So you have an English site, you have the French page, and you have the German page. And you have hreflang that goes across all these. This one's getting all the page rank and link juice, but they searched in French. Google's supposed to substitute this page out and give it to them. These are supposed to pass page rank between all of them. This makes a ranking cluster. This is one way of making a ranking cluster. The other way of making a ranking cluster would be to 301 all of them, or to link them, or to even have a text mention, or to do a canonical. This will be the strongest signal, second strongest, third strongest, weakest. But that's how you make a ranking cluster. So yeah, that should save the link juice between all of them. But I've never tested it. So this is all bucket 2 guessing. But I'm pretty sure, I'm 51% sure, that if you had an English page and you had hreflang to your French and German page correctly, and it's page-based, by the way, it's not site-based. It has to be on a page-to-page level. And all the link juice is coming here, all the page rank, not the rage pank, all the rage pank is coming here, all the rage spank, that's a totally different thing. That's a different website. All the page rank is going to the English page. They will sub, and the searcher searches in French or German, they should sub out these pages because you have a ranking cluster with them. It's the same as you did around NextPrev. Between a bunch of articles that had a rail NextPrev, they've made a ranking cluster. It's like one giant long site, one giant long page. It's the same thing. Okay, guys. So if there's no other questions, I got another half hour here, guys. I got another 27 minutes. I can't believe this went as quick as it did.
You once kind of brought up how, like, different places where you search, you can have a little bit of different, where you actually rank. Like Jordan said, the one page looked at spot 2, and for you, I think it was spot 4.1. When you're talking to clients about successes and how it's grown, would you say it's more important to highlight the fact that traffic's gone up, in like, or because I've had some people come to me like, oh, I want spot 1, and maybe they were in spot 1 for a bit, but in other places they weren't quite showing there.
Okay. So that's a good question. The question is, what KPIs do you share with the client? And the answer is the KPIs that make you look the best. That's the answer. So if you've, so there's traffic, there's rankings, there's conversions, there's CTR, there's all these things you can brag about. There's impressions. So whichever one has gone up the most, or whichever ones have gone up, you show them. You should probably show them the ones that haven't gone up and explain why. But if you want to keep them around as a customer, basically, yeah, the traffic's gone up, because that matters, right? At the end of the day, it's the sales.
Yeah.
How have their sales gone up is the question.
ROI.
You can do a lot of work that all of this, none of this has gotten any better, but this got better.
Yeah, I would just ask them, hey, did you guys make more money this month? Like, I mean, it's a simple question, but it's very impactful. It means you actually care about their business. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, it's like you actually care if they succeed or not. Yeah, yeah. Of course, money is the main KPI usually. Sometimes, quite often though, clients will get their vanity keywords they want to rank number 1 for, because they ranked #1 forever and they thought they were fantastic because Google said they were #1, and then they lost that ranking and then they're all crying and stuff. So sometimes they care about the rankings and the money, and you need to kind of, clients. I love all my clients. Don't get me wrong, but client services can be a lot like being a psychologist sometimes, and you got to kind of talk them off ledges, and you got to kind of calm them down, and you got to kind of explain, how to be reasonable.
Yeah.
And because they've temporarily forgotten these things sometimes, and yeah. So, and plus they've been screwed by a lot of other SEOs, and they want to know you're doing something. And
that's the big challenge I found there too. That rock is they're super hesitant because they've been through such a ringer before.
Right. Yeah. And there's nothing you can do about that, other than I give them the Bitly SEO proof, and I say, look it, and if I say, watch my videos, you know what kind of person I am, and here's my Bitly SEO proof, and there you go. Other SEOs ask me how should they do it, and I'm like, I don't know. This is how I do it. Last person who asked me that was Chase. And I said, yeah, that's how I do it. And so he became a guru. Sadly, however, he became an evil guru with nothing but bullshit information.
And Ryan, I would even say, hey, I'm in a testing group, and we check factors every day just to make sure that all of our clients and all of our own sites are, what's working, what isn't. This is all, I spend a lot of my time in these groups to make sure that I can serve you better. It's okay to say that.
Okay, I wasn't sure because I don't want to seem like I was.
No, absolutely. Just say, hey, I'm involved in this testing group. As part of my job, I want to make sure that I get you up to date on the most current methods to make sure that you're making money. And they're gonna be like, wow, so this guy's certified.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Jordan. That's a very good suggestion. I mean, if it helps you, say, look at Bitly SEO proof. This is the group I'm in. These are the kind of results we get. You could say something like that. At the end of the day, you do have to get their rankings better. There's always a client that sometimes this goes wrong or that goes wrong or that kind of thing. Sometimes it takes longer than you expect, or sometimes Google decides to make an update in the middle of you fixing their site and further plummets their site down. That's just the way it is. But at the end of the day, money is the biggest KPI to track. If that hasn't gotten better, show them how the rankings have gotten better, or you've increased the traffic. And then you need to say, okay, we need to work on conversions. Look at, this happens to my wife all the time. She'll send 5,000 traffic to a page and they make 0 sales. And then they blame her. And she's like, no.
She got bot clicks.
How well, I got 5,000 people on Facebook who were interested in your offer, but then they got to your page and your page sucks. They can't even find the button to buy. Where is it? And that's why you made 0 sales. So the upshot of that is actually when you're doing some kind of internet marketing service, whether it's Facebook or GMB or AdWords or SEO, you pretty much have to give them kind of a holistic solution. Depending on how you've structured your contract, you just be like, yeah, I got your rankings. Whatever happens after they get to your page is your problem. That used to be that way in SEO, but we really can't do it that way anymore. We got to kind of make the 360 kind of service where we get you the traffic and we send it to your page, which we've done CRO on, and now we're making you the sales as well. That's more, whether this is Google or Facebook or whatever this is here, this is more what we got to do. And that's why I'm starting to actually build landing pages for clients, because usually doing any design on their site is a nightmare. Design usually is hard to do. It's a nightmare. Their sites are antiquated. You can't do it. So I don't bother doing it. I just make my own. I just make a landing page and I send traffic to it, or I make a landing page and I rank that landing page irregardless of their other pages. And I show, okay, I'm getting traffic into the landing page. You're getting sales on it. This is maximized. This is what you could do if you made your site, convert properly, like this landing page I made.
Cool.
So it's up to you. What kind of, you have to decide what's your return on investment, how much money you want to make, how much money you want to charge, how many hours you want to work, what kind of clients you want to deal with. I have a very specific kind of parameters of clients I deal with. Clients that are really, really whiny or really annoying, I don't deal with. I say, bye, you're fired. I fire them immediately on the spot. And usually they come back and say, "Oh no, I'm sorry," and then typically they smarten up. I noticed they abuse my wife a lot too. I don't know if it's like a woman thing, probably. And she's on Facebook as well, and that there's a lot of third world people on Upwork offering that. And so my wife takes a lot of abuse quite often.
It's unfortunate.
And then as soon as she puts me in the conversation, I'm like, no, we're not working with this client. You're fired. Get out of here. And then they come back and they're like, oh no, I'm sorry. But then quite often they smarten up. 90% of the time when I fired a client, they smarten up. And they come back and they can be a good client for many years.
That's the standard.
Well, it does. But it depends, right? If you're starving and you need the money,
Yeah.
then you got to deal with no, Maeve, I would never fire you. You're fantastic. But it depends, right? If you need the money, I remember those times when I was after the documentary, I wasn't making a lot of money and I was 400 grand in the hole, and CRA was quite upset that I wasn't paying my taxes because it was the government of Canada that funded my documentary because I didn't pay taxes for years because I couldn't afford to. So I was taking any job that I had to, right? So you get these clients that are super annoying and there's being big jerks and you got to suck it up. You have to do what you got to do. I've also done in-house SEO for people, but I can't. Obviously with a person with an ego the size of mine, I can't work for someone for very long if they're a complete idiot or even a partial idiot, because I can't keep my mouth shut for very long, or it just destroys my soul to be in that kind of corporate environment. So it's up to your personality. It depends on what you need, your personal stuff, how much you want to pay. I don't have a lot of good advice for people who want to get into SEO. It's a tough game to do. We're good at it. We're good because we have the SVE stuff, but anyone else who wants to get into SEO, like on my show, people who want to get into SEO, and I'm like, I don't know if you should, unless you can get in my group. And then it just sounds like just like a big upsell, which I'm not intending to do, but it's like, really, okay, get in some group doing scientific testing, because if you're not, and they better be doing good scientific testing, because most of them are not doing that other than my group. And again, which sounds like a giant upsell, which I'm not intending, but. Okay, what other kind of what ifs we got here? What kind of questions you guys got? Any remaining questions left? What do we got here on the Skype? Yes, there was a search update today, and in YouTube. Justin says he's closed deals more than once using the line of being active in monthly groups of testing. Yeah, that's good. Yashar says he wants to fire some clients too. I hope he doesn't mean me. Yashar, don't quit. Yashar, we need you. We love you, Yashar. Don't. Dejan says try ones that pay a lot. Then you never have to fire any. Yeah, but here's the problem. It's like I charge $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month is my max. If I go higher than $3,000 a month, I find then the jerkiness just increases like exponentially, because they start to think you're like an employee, and they start to think they can call you every day. And like you remember Clint used to be on my show. He got that $30,000 a month client, and he's like, he had to move to Phoenix, and he's like calling them all the time, and they're always on the phone and blah 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 blah. So 30 grand a month is nice and all, but he's beholden to that one client now. And if he loses that client, he's hooped, right? Like that so much of his time he can't work on anything else.
Yeah,
and
he
now
keeps trying to hire me.
Oh, did he?
He's trying to hire me to help him. I'm like,
Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe at an arm's length, contract stuff, but yeah, I mean, nothing against Clint, but now he's kind of in a bad situation. I would never take a client that paid that much ever in my life, because they be so rude to you on the phone. They treat you like an employee. They think, they can, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I obviously have way too big an ego for that. So that would never work.
yeah, honestly, if the drive is there, the best ones to work with are kind of the mom and pop shops, because if you can help them grow, like
I've had a lot of
huge
success
amount,
with those,
it's so much fun.
I've had a lot of success with the more mom and pop ones, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. That's why I've always done GV. I love small businesses.
It's like
so fun to watch them grow.
Yeah, it's almost like you're like I was the tech kid growing up who plugged in
Yep.
TVs for my grandpa. It's for the web world now. For people who are older.
Another way of making money online is affiliate stuff, of course. Now I've done an affiliate course. It's not easy. It's not like a 2-hour a day job. It's a full 8-hour a day job. You got to be looking always for that new affiliate niche. You got to be making friends with those guys, going to those conferences, always be on nose to the ground for the new affiliate niche. But with our SEO knowledge, you could make a lot of money, especially in gambling. Or the greasier the niche, the more money you can make.
You need to have multiple affiliate sites, right? It wouldn't just one, like you try to go for a few.
Oh yeah, no, you need 5 or 10 going at once, because then 2 are going to stop paying you, one company is going to go under, and then Google's going to find the other 2. So that kind of stuff happens all the time. These are like computers; they last 3 years, and you have to replace it.
Yep.
So,
and I do teach you how to do local affiliate too on my end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan's course is very good. Of course, he's very nice to give us a discount. So thank you, Jordan, very much for that. And yeah, so there's lots of ways to make money, especially with our knowledge. Client SEO is one way of doing it. There's plenty of clients. It just depends on your temperament, and depends if you can handle people yelling at you, or if you want to be beholden to these people. Instead of having one boss, you have like 50 little bosses. Is that better or worse? I don't know. It depends on your personality. You can also do affiliate stuff. And for any of you who speak other languages, I'm looking at branching out my mentorship group into other language bases. I want to move into Spanish. I want to move into Hindi, maybe Portuguese. So for those of you who speak other languages, you can also do SEO education with me, and we can sell our education over there, and I'll partner with you on it. I need someone to totally translate everything into some other language base. And there's,
in terms of client income, there's a rule of thumb as a chartered accountant that you taught when you go in and audit, that you should never have anybody that's more than 20% of your income, because that's a real danger sign in terms of when you're auditing a client and auditing an accountant. So accountants will never, ever have a single client that's more than 20% of their income. It's a really good rule of thumb for all service industries.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I like that.
And then ideally you had 5 clients, and that'd be a comfortable amount of people to deal with. Probably. That's a good rule of thumb. Yeah.
You have to declare it if one client is more than 20%.
I see.
Because it's such a danger zone that if that client goes down and you've lost such a huge amount of income, you probably know I'm an accountant in real life. But yeah, that's if you're in a service industry, never have one single client who accounts for more than 20% of your income, because then you're in a real trouble spot.
Thanks for that, Maeve.
Sorry, what did you say?
Thanks. That's a good tip.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. But yeah, that's just an accountant's rule of thumb, less than 20%.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that. And that would be a good rule of thumb anyway, because again, if you have only one customer, that could be a problem. So I don't know. It depends if you really like and trust those people, but there's a lot of different factors there. So anyway, unless there's any last questions there, guys, that you can think of, I'm going to let you go. So this has just been kind of like a rehash course of stuff, of everything we've been finding out lately. And I looked.
Great, man.
Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it filled in the blanks. I hope it made things more clear for you. Kind of like a summary video. So maybe some of the newbies don't have to go watch every single video that's out there, or all the courses. Maybe now, if one part they're not clear on, they can just watch the one. But this is kind of like a summary of everything that's going on now. Keep in mind, watch the experiments. They change every day. Tomorrow, meta keywords. We've done the meta keywords test again, and it looked like it might now be boosting. It was demoting before. So you never know what's going on. And Ted is creating his super crazy relative variable testing mechanism, his tool. So that'll be really exciting. So we'll have a lot new good tests for you. And if I don't see you otherwise, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you guys practice. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Festivus, whatever it is.
Happy Krishna Hamakwazuka.
And I'll see you guys in the Skype groups. And I don't see any other questions for me, so I'm going to get off here. So thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you soon.
See everybody.
See you guys.